This year, South Korea celebrates 3 decades of OECD membership. That being said, our foreign affairs correspondent Oh Soo-young recently sat down with the organization's top official for his thoughts on South Korea's contributions thus far and its potential role going forward. We have highlights from that exchange here, while the full interview airs on Arirang TV this Friday.
Well, Secretary General, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Great to be here.
Well, let's go straight into the questions. So in your recent forecast, the OECD projects that global growth will continue in 2026 and 27, but growth does remain quite fragile. So what's currently supporting this precarious growth, and what do you see as the biggest sources of uncertainty?
Well, I mean, the first point is that the global economy has actually proven to be remarkably resilient in the context of everything that's been going on. Growth this year at about 3.2%, which, is still above 3%. And I guess there's a number of reasons for that. There's been higher levels of production and trade activity earlier in the year in anticipation of the announced tariff increases. Moving forward, I mean, there are certainly downside risks related to trade tensions, related to an elevated level of policy uncertainty, but also some risks related to sort of more structural issues, including the high level of indebtedness and the high level of debt financing costs related to high-level asset valuations.
How concerned are you about this escalation of trade disputes, tariffs, and some even saying that multilateral economic cooperation is dead?
Well, multilateral economic cooperation continues, and certainly here at the OECD we continue to do everything we can to ensure that multilateral cooperation is as strong as it can be moving forward. Now, I mean, having said that, I mean, trade disputes and policy uncertainty are negative for growth. It would be much better if we could have a sustainable resolution of trade tensions, if we could indeed have a return to a higher level of policy certainty. And certainly our advice to governments around the world, in particular our advice to OECD member governments, is to work harder bilaterally and multilaterally to reform international trading arrangements, make them fairer and function better, but in a way that preserves the economic benefits of open markets and rules-based trade.
South Korea in 2025 returned to the global stage after a very brief period of martial law and months of fallout. But from the OECD's perspective, how do you assess Korea's democratic resilience?
Well, your institutions have proven to be resilient. I mean, everything was managed on the way through, consistent with your constitution, and you have, a completely well-functioning system, democratic system. I mean, democracy has been very important to Korea's success. Your constitutional arrangements have been tested, but they have proven themselves to have worked very well through that testing.
So 2026 marks 30 years since South Korea joined the OECD. How do you assess Korea's role? How has it evolved over the years?
Well, Korea's transformation has been absolutely extraordinary. Like, Korea is now an economic powerhouse. I mean, from a developing economy into the 12th largest economy in the world, a highly successful export-oriented manufacturing powerhouse, and Korea continues to innovate and continues to focus on its international competitiveness. And the fact that Korea has been open and has exposed itself to global competition, Korea's commitment to align with international best practice through the OECD has really been a key driver of its economic success, helping to secure significant increases in incomes and living standards for the people of Korea. But so, I mean, I think that Korea's story over the last 30 years should be inspiration for many other countries that want to achieve the same success. And I know that in Southeast Asia, countries like Indonesia and Thailand are looking very closely at Korea's example and experience. And that is in large part a reason why they're now part of the accession process with the OECD as well.
Thank you very much, Secretary General, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.